Hello, I'm Chris. Louis has been learning to drive with another instructor and wants to see if his driving skills are at a standard high enough to pass a UK driving test. I've never met Louis, so before we start the mock test, let's go and find out more about his driving experience.
Well, thanks a lot for coming.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
So, how many lessons have you had? How many hours?
I've lost count because it's been quite dispersed, but I'd say about 25 to 30.
And do you feel quite confident with your driving now?
On the whole, but I've been doing roads that I know quite well, so it'll be interesting to see how things change in a new place.
Yeah, of course. Because you've never driven around here before, have you?
Yeah.
And different car as well.
Yeah. So, and then the mock conditions.
And have you got a driving test booked?
I do, yeah. It's on the 26th.
Because you've never done a mock test before, have you?
No.
And do you feel like you could pass?
I'll say yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, confidence.
Yeah, no, probably, about 20% chance.
20%. Alright, okay.
But you never know.
No.
We'll see how things go.
Alright then. Well, because you've never driven this car before, I think it's only fair that we go for a little warm-up drive first of all.
Okay, great.
After a 15-minute warm-up drive, we start the mock test. Tell me, how can you check the headlights and tail lights are working?
So what you'd do is you'd press on the dipped headlights and also the rear, and then you'd get out and check if they're on.
Okay, thanks.
The examiner will then say, throughout the drive, continue ahead unless traffic signs direct you otherwise. When I want you to turn left or right, I'll tell you in plenty of time.
Drive on when you're ready then, please.
I'll be giving you some commentary at key moments during the test to help you learn. I'll be pointing out the good parts, and if he does make any faults, I'll be explaining why he got them. A great start to the test, getting a tell me question correct. A show me question will be asked later. Check your mirrors before driving around a parked vehicle, just in case someone is about to overtake you, especially a motorcyclist. To drive well and safely, you really need to plan ahead and anticipate any potential hazards.
At the end of the road, turn left, please.
Great mirror checks before signalling, especially looking out for cyclists. This is quite a sharp turn, and he really needs to follow the curb as it goes round to the left. With this car approaching, he should have kept it a bit closer to the curb. Good use of the mirrors, and he's positioned the car well, ready for the oncoming vehicle. Don't forget that Louis has never driven in this area before, and he's only had 15 minutes to get used to the car.
I'd like to pull up on the left, just before that silver car, please. But leave enough room to get back out. You can ignore the driveways on this occasion. Try and get reasonably close to that silver car if you can. Okay, you can stop there, thanks. Drive on when you're ready, please.
Good checks of the mirrors and blind spot. Being careful not to swing out too wide here. and he does a good job.
At the traffic lights, turn left, please.
Good checks of the mirrors before signalling. Louis raised the clutch a bit too high, and it's making the car move even with the parking brake on. Not worth a fault though. Louis tries to change up to third gear, but instead forces it into first. This makes the car slow down quickly. No brake lights come on when this happens, so it can surprise the driver behind. Unfortunately, this is a serious fault. On the driving test, as mentioned earlier, the examiner wants you to continue ahead unless traffic signs direct you otherwise. This sign is telling Louis that all traffic turns left ahead. In a moment, Louis asks me if we're turning left, and I'll admit it, I was a bit mean and don't help him. But on your driving test, you can ask the examiner for confirmation of where you're going if you're not sure. I just really wanted him to look out for signs and markings, like he'll have to once he passes his test and has no one to ask.
Okay, left.
I can't help you, I'm afraid.
Louis figures it out without any help and signals left. Louis takes a good position for going ahead. The car struggles in second gear, no points for style, but Louis saves it just before it stalls. He checks the mirrors, just in case someone's overtaken at the last moment. Before slowing down, check your interior mirror first to see how close anyone might be behind.
Take the next road on the left, please.
Good checks of the mirrors before signalling, although he has signalled a little early, but it's not worth a fault.
At the end of the road, turn right, please.
Again, good checks of the mirrors. There is a stop line at the end of this road. I'm pleased he stopped, but he stopped without the clutch down, resulting in a stall. It hasn't affected anyone, and he started the car quickly. Very hard to see at that junction, parked cars were on both sides of the road, but he observed really well.
Pull up on the left in a safe place, please.
Good parking. I'd like you to follow a series of directions given by the sat-nav now, please. I'll let you know when independent driving's finished.
Drive on when you're ready, please.
Good checks of the mirrors and blind spot. In case you didn't know already, let me tell you about the different type of faults and how many you're allowed. You're allowed up to 15 driving faults during the test, often called minor faults. These aren't potentially dangerous, but if you keep making the same faults throughout your test, then it could become a serious fault.
Then turn left. Turn right, then turn left.
Get a serious or dangerous fault and it's a driving test foul. A serious fault is something that could potentially be dangerous, and a dangerous fault involves actual danger to either yourself, the examiner, another person or property. A lot of accidents happen at junctions, so it's really good to see Louis looking properly there. To be a good safe driver, you always need to plan and anticipate what could happen next. Louis does both of these things and reacts well.
Turn left.
Great observations from Louis again. I like the way he checks and keeps checking to make sure he hasn't missed anything. Don't only look for the big vehicles, but also cyclists and motorcyclists that are harder to see. There's a bus lane ahead that Louis is allowed to drive in at this time. Louis signalled left to change lane, but the driver on the left and the one behind might think he's turning left. So rather than the signal being helpful, it was actually misleading. Always check your mirrors before changing lanes. And you should also have a quick shoulder check, as the mirrors don't show everything.
After 200 yards, turn left.
It's good to see him using the bus lane as he is allowed to use it, and it helps traffic flow. It also means that he's in the correct lane for turning left up ahead.
Turn left.
Good mirror checks before signalling. I'm really pleased that Louis noticed the 20 mph sign. Louis does a good job at not going over the speed limit until now, and just goes a bit too much over for too long. Unfortunately, this would be a serious mistake.
Pull up on the left in a safe place, please. Just here if you can.
Always check your mirrors first to make sure it's safe before you signal.
Drive on when you're ready, please.
Really nice parking. He's got it close to the curb and is parallel with it. Lou is doing well, waiting for a safe opportunity. The last thing you want to do is to pull out and cause another road user to slow down, stop, or swerve. The hill start was done safely, without rolling backwards.
After 300 yards, turn right.
The speed limit changes back to 30 miles per hour ahead. Louis tries to change up the third gear, but forces it into first, causing the car to jolt.
Turn right.
Okay, you have missed the turn, so I'll direct you from here, okay, just for a moment.
Left, then turn around when possible.
You can ignore the sat-nav.
You won't fail your test or get any faults if you miss your turn, as long as you're driving safely and legally.
At the roundabout, turn right, please.
Always check your mirrors to make sure it's safe before you signal.
And take the third exit.
A good opportunity to go at the roundabout, but he should have tried a little harder to drive round it. Not quite worth a fault this time. Louis handles this meeting traffic situation well and times it so that he doesn't have to stop unnecessarily.
Take the next road on the right, please.
Good checks of the mirrors before signalling. A little bit close to the curb there, but not worth a fault. Good reactions to the pedestrian.
Okay, you can follow the sat-nav again now, please.
After 200 yards, turn left. Turn left.
On this next turn, Louis steers a little late, and not enough, resulting in him getting a bit close to the island.
When it's safe, I'd like you to pull up on the right-hand side of the road, please.
Louis positioned the car well on the right-hand side of the road, and he's got the car parallel with the curb, which will make the reversing part easier.
I'd now like you to reverse roughly 2 car lengths, please, keeping it reasonably close to the curb on the right. Now, I know you haven't driven this car before, and reversing this car, sorry, I'll just help you out a little bit. There's a little collar that you have to lift up, and then it's to the left and forward, okay? That's it, yeah. Swish.
Great observations. I like the way he's not staring in one direction. He's aware of what's behind and in front of the car.
Yeah, you can stop there, thanks. Drive on when you're ready, please.
Good mirrors and blind spot check.
When it's safe, can you show me how you demist the rear window, please? Sure. Thanks.
After 200 yards, turn right, then turn left.
A driving fault for not checking the mirrors before signalling.
Turn right, then turn left.
Louis also drives over the mini roundabout a bit too much this time, getting him a driving fault.
Turn left.
Louis shouldn't have stopped for this pedestrian, as she wasn't going to step in front of him, and it's not a pedestrian crossing. The danger was actually the driver behind that probably wasn't expecting Louis to stop and could have potentially hit us. Unfortunately, this is a serious fault. Good road position, and I'm pleased he's not cutting the corner.
After 200 yards, turn right.
Louis tries to change up to third gear, but again forces it into first, causing the car to jolt.
Turn right.
Good checks of the mirrors before signalling.
After 200 yards, go left on the roundabout and take the first exit.
Good road position, but always remember to check your interior mirror before you slow down, to see how close anyone is behind.
Go left on the roundabout and take the first exit.
Louis signalled a bit late for this roundabout. Always signal in good time to let other road users know where you're going and give them time to react. It's a busy mini roundabout, but Louis moves off at the wrong time with this motorcyclist approaching. Louis should have waited. This is a serious fault.
After 100 yards, cross the roundabout and take the second exit, then turn right.
Louis has to follow the road ahead at the roundabout, second exit. He will need to keep in the left-hand lane.
Cross the roundabout and take the second exit, then turn right.
Louis does really well not stopping on the crossing. Louis doesn't keep in the left-hand lane. This is important as there could have been someone on the right of him turning right. This is a serious fault. Louis is unaware that he's in second gear. When moving off in second, there's a very good chance you're going to stall. He does get the car started pretty quickly, and as we're stuck in traffic, it's not worth a fault as it hasn't affected anybody.
After 80 yards, turn right.
Here's a good example of why you should always check your mirrors before you signal, change direction, or change speed.
Turn right.
This is a serious fault. Louis has turned a little bit late, and not enough, and has got quite close to the curb. An interesting situation, but Louis deals with it well. Louis had some problems changing up to third gear earlier, but this time he does it a bit more gently and it goes in much easier. Moving into the space on the left here would have really helped the bus driver out, but at least they managed to get through. Good road position and speed for this tight road.
After 200 yards, turn left. Turn left.
Always check your mirrors before you drive around a parked vehicle, just in case someone's overtaking you, such as a motorcyclist.
After 300 yards, go left on the roundabout and take the first exit.
Good checks of the mirrors. It's important before moving back to the left to check your mirrors first, especially at this slow speed, as there could be a cyclist coming up on the left. Louis takes a good opportunity to go, although a bit more acceleration would have helped. I'm pleased Louis overtook the bus, and he was careful of the vehicles emerging out on the left. I'm glad he cancelled the signal before it confused anybody.
After 200 yards, you have reached your destination.
Well, that's the end of the independent driving. I'll direct you from here, okay?
A nice clear road, good conditions. He should be trying to increase the speed a bit more, just so that he doesn't frustrate drivers that could be behind us.
Take the second road on the left, please. This is the first one. Pull up on the left in a safe place, please. You can ignore the driveways on this occasion. Okay, you can switch off the engine now. Thanks, that's the end of the test. How was that?
Yeah, it's a bit of a blur.
I can imagine.
Yeah. Did I pass?
It's certainly not easy driving in test conditions in a different car and area while being filmed. Unfortunately, Louis wasn't successful today. After the mock test, we talked about what went right and not so right. Here are some of the highlights.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I think, the clutch control was kind of all over the place. I think I mixed first and third gear a couple of times. I think that's just being too tense.
It probably is, actually.
Yeah.
Because really, when you change the third, you want to be just a little bit lighter with it. You don't want to be forcing it.
Louis remembered to check the mirrors a lot of the time, but he wasn't consistent.
Turn right.
I noticed the occasions when I didn't. I think I just was juggling too much. I remember. I was one turning I left really late, and I probably should have just kept on driving because it didn't feel safe.
Sort of missed the road.
So I missed the road. I realised at the last minute.
Do you remember that pedestrian that was standing on the pavement? He was turning left.
So I know it's quite dangerous braking there, but I felt she was. I should have probably just gone, but I didn't know whether she was about to step out. So. But I realised there was a car like you were close behind.
Yeah, they did get really close, and they didn't expect you to stop. Did
No,
they?
no.
We went into a 20-mile-an-hour zone.
Yeah, so it was 20 miles per hour, and it felt really slow. And the car was saying 30, and I was like, did I see that? And then it flashed up again, 20, and I was like, okay.
Is that what you saw on the dashboard, the 30 sign, was it?
Yeah, and I sort of thought, did I get that wrong? Sorry.
We turned left at a mini roundabout, and there was a motorcyclist coming from the right.
Yeah, it got a bit hairy.
I think he was trying to time it where the car turned left towards where he was coming from, but there was a motorbike directly behind us, wasn't there? think about motorbikes are so vulnerable, they've got faster acceleration, haven't
It was
they?
very quick, yeah.
So definitely should have waited. I think give way at the mini roundabout for that one.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good stuff though, and you obviously just need a bit more practice with the gears.
Yeah. And the clutch, I think, it felt a lot different. So that was tricky. But yeah, thanks for your feedback. Yeah.
A lot of good stuff. So just keep up practice.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Maybe
Hopefully,
it'll
it'll
be
be helpful
fine.
for other people to watch as well.
Big thank you to Louis for taking part and for being brave enough to be filmed. Thanks also to you for watching. Really hope you found it helpful. If you did, then please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and like the video if you think it deserves it. Good luck with your driving test if you have one coming up soon, and bye for now.